Neat. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our event today. My name is Margaret Foe. I'm the CEO for the Aboriginal Housing Management Association in British Columbia. And we are very excited to be here in the traditional territories of the Ktunaxa and are excited to be welcomed by the Mayor of Cranbrook. Thank you for having us here. Métis representatives from the region as well. Thank you for being here and thank you for having us in your territory. Today, we gather with a collective purpose to address Indigenous housing in BC and the undeniable growing need and devastation that we all see in here. Without a doubt, Indigenous human rights are the biggest political, economic, and social shift we're going to all see in our lifetimes. And for over 25 years, the Aboriginal Housing Management Association, AHMA, and our 55 members, Indigenous housing and service providers, have been a part of this shift and leading the advancement in housing rights for all Indigenous peoples living here in British Columbia and, in fact, across Canada. The Aboriginal Housing Management Association of BC supports over 55 housing and support members across British Columbia who meet the housing and support needs of nearly 10,000 First Nations, Inuit, Métis, status, non-status, and status unknown individuals and families all across British Columbia. And AHMA is hosting regional engagement events like this for the opportunity to create meaningful connections between our communities.
Today we stand with our Indigenous community, with municipalities, advocates, housing leaders, and extended communities in support of Indigenous housing, and specifically AHMA's BC Rural and Northern Indigenous Strategy. The strategy that's going to be presented here today moves away from colonial practices and exclusive models. And what it does focus on is ecological, economic, and social well-being that's rooted in Indigenous knowledge and tradition. So it's a real honor, and I'm very proud to be part of something like this. This has just been a huge undertaking for our organization and society, and I'm so proud of the work that they've done.
Just attended the Aboriginal Housing Management Association meeting, which they hosted in Cranbrook, and was excited to hear about them and their future, the strategy they have to provide some housing. And I know I'm really pleased because in Cranbrook we do have a housing shortage, and we definitely have an affordable housing shortage. And talking to developers, unless they get some other money subsidized from other groups or government, it's just cost prohibitive for them to build it. And I do know that right now in Cranbrook we have a homeless situation that is considerable, and my understanding is in the last study we did that 43% of those housing people were Indigenous. So I'm really pleased to see that there's somebody working towards it, and hopefully the City of Cranbrook can work together with them and solve the problem.
One of the things that we find that is lacking when we're housing our tenants is the need to address alcohol and drug issues, and knowing how to live independently. We find that that's a gap that is missing before they actually reach Akatanam Housing Society. We have very limited staff, and it would be great to be able to work with other services within Cranbrook to ensure we meet the needs of all of our tenants and those that are interested in applying for our services.
I currently have approximately 200 files for people looking for housing that does not exist. Not only do we need housing for people that don't have issues, but we need housing for people that have mental health and addiction issues. I'm tired of, I've worked in addictions for years, of them taking our people and taking them to Vancouver and area and giving them a toolbox with a key and say, okay, well, go home because it's not going to work for you, because we don't have anything here for supportive housing for them, to give them a second stage or even a place to go where they can learn how to survive in an environment that they're not used to surviving without having some sort of medication or alcohol or something like that.
What we want to do at Rocky Mount Métis Association is engage our citizens and find out what our people need, rather than coming in and providing housing suspecting what our people need. Having dialogue sessions, moving away from the surveys. The surveys that we've had available to our citizens so far have been predominantly electronic, which is a barrier for homeless folks and people who might not have the accessibility to the technology to engage in these surveys. So getting out in the community and actually speaking to people who are in need of those homes, I think is going to create a much more holistic, authentic housing solution that's more suited for our Métis citizens.